Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I will be showing you how to use branches and how to make different types of variants. So, you have to start off with the moves obviously. How you do that, if you don't know somehow, is you do a NOT gate, you put an output as 1 or anything really, and then you want to get a moveset block, put the input as 1 or the same output as the NOT gate over here. I'm going to make the cooldown 0 for now, display minus 1. So, let's start with air variants, or I like to call it like conditional variants. So let's say we want to do air variants and ground variants. We do branch. Let's go with ground here. Can remember these can be any names. Ground, yeah. And then we copy and paste. Instead, this one we do air. So now you want to put the ground. You want to make the ground and air variants or branches, and you want to make sure that they have the conditions. So for this one, we're doing the air variance and ground variance. So you want to make sure that you do the in air. You put them for both. However, when you're doing the ground variance, you want to make sure that this flip is green because this says true in air, but it doesn't mean that it's true that it's an air that then it'll activate. It means that it's true that it's not an air, so it'll activate when you're on the ground instead. So now that we have this, we want our ground variant to be, let's say, something like rapid punches, and then for our air variant to be curse strikes. Now, if I've done this correctly, oh yeah, almost forgot. I'm gonna make sure that the moveset block is big for the character to be in. And here we go. Oh yeah, almost forgot again. Properties, replace skill if occupied so that it'll take place of the skill it's occupying. So now if I get myself out of builder, So now we do one, we're on the ground, so we do rapid punches, right? Doing rapid punches, and if we're in the air, we have curse strikes, air variant, specifically air variant. And that's basically the air variant and ground variants. Now, you can make the conditions whatever you want, really, unless you target false as target, and this one is doing, yeah, true has target this one, and this one false as target. Remember, the flip just flips it around. Now, if we do this, if we do not have a target, we do not twofold kick, we do rapid punches. Now, if we do have a target, we do first strikes. That's pretty simple. And so, that is how the, what's it? The has target condition does. If you don't know what the conditions do, I'd say search up videos on YouTube or something. And yeah, that's basically how the conditions work. And so let's go over here. And you want to do M1 variants. Now, M1 variants, what basically that means is if you've done an M1 prior, it'll do the variant. So let's put over here, hit cancel, right? Now I'd say do negative, not negative, 0.5 because it's pretty good. Like if you've hit an M1 against someone 0.5 seconds ago, half a second ago, then it'll do the variant. So let's put the branch as M1. Remember, it can be any name as long as it matches with the branch. That was over here. Let's do an M1 variant of Divergent Fist. And we do the non-M1 variant with, let's say, strikes. If I get the move over here, and I do the non-M1 variant, I do first strikes. Now if I've done M1s, I do Diverging Fist. Pretty simple, but take note of this though. For my non-M1 variant, I did Curse Strikes because it's a longer range move. You can see here, longer range. Right, and I did Divergent Fist as my M1 variant because it's a close range move. So that's something you can do if you like want to have a long range move if you're farther away. It's kind of like how it'll work. It won't exactly work perfectly if you want to do like variants based off of range, but it'll work the best it can currently with the current tools. Now remember that it doesn't have to be these specific moves, it can be any move in general. So let's say we want like, for our M1 variant, we want, I don't know, yeah, rapid punches like we used on our last example. And then for our non-M1 variant, we want to do something like reverse the red. That's not a skill builder, just builder. Now, if we don't do the M1 variant, we do red. But if we have it in M1, we do rapid punches. Very simple. Now, if you want to do both M1 variants and air variants, you're going to want to do this. So let's see here, ground, air, here we go. Now we do this, conditions in air, true. There's conditions in air, false, right? Or false in air. And now we have this over here. So we do hit cancel, negative 0, 5, 1. So that if we do the ground variant, or not the ground variant, the M1 variant, we do rapid punches over here. Now we want to do the ground and air variants. We want to do the ground and air variants, we put the branches ahead. So now we have branches, ground, air. Here we have it. And if you're doing the ground variant, you do the, here we have it, over here with your strikes. Now with air variant, we do something like mass breaker. Now if I have this, I should be doing these 3 variants depending on the situation. If I hit him with an M1, rapid punches, go. If I do it on the ground, first strikes. If I do it in the air, mass breaker. It's pretty simple. However, if you want to get to more complex stuff, like for your M1 variant, you also have an air and ground variant. I'd say do M1 ground, right? And then M1 air. I don't think there's a limit to how much branches you can have, or that I know of. I'm not entirely sure. But we put branches over here. So M1 ground. And we do M1 air. Okay? Now we gotta make sure these have the conditions as well. So inner true and inner false, or false inner, yeah. So let's say for M1 ground variants, we keep with rapid punches, but if we go into the air, then we do Choso's flowing red scale or something, right? Remember, you don't have to follow these exact rules. These are just example, like exact skills. These are just like example skills. So ground variant with the non M1 and the air variant is not bigger, right? Now if we do the M1 variant, the ground version, we do rapid punches. And now M1 variant in the air, we do flowing red scale air variant. So that is basically how you're going to do these M1 variants and air variants, or conditional variants, I like to call them. But if you can keep with the conditional variants, you can keep getting more like crazy with awakening bar. Like you can get a lot of different variants with that is awakened, like all these different types of conditions. But yeah, that is how you use branches and get different types of variants. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, I'd say like the video. If you want to see more from me, I'd say subscribe and hit the bell notification. And that is basically all for the video. Bye.